All right, now let's say hello to the coach, Doug Pederson, who joins us now as he gets set for his trip to Philadelphia. Doug, how are you, man?
Oh, Frank, doing well. Thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, hey, we'll get into Philly in just a second, but I got to start with this note. For coaches are close to players. I know how close you are to your players, and I know how much you like Christian Kirk, and I hated it for Christian to see him go down again. How hard is that for a coach, for a guy that you know how hard he worked and what a good teammate he is? What's your feelings when you see something like that happen?
You know, it's one of the hardest things, you know, as coaches, because you get attached to, you know, players and your team, and you're absolutely right. A guy like Christian, you know, the way he works, the way he presents himself, he handles himself like a professional. You know, he represents the team in the right way, represents himself, and you know, I just know how hard he works and puts the time in, and to see something like this. You know, we all know it's part of the game, and it's going to happen and can happen to anybody. But for me personally, it's hard to watch, you know, and hard to kind of experience, especially the good ones, go down on your team.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it. From a football standpoint now, Parker Washington's the slot guy that replaces him. Tell us a little bit about Parker. Look, he's had a good off season and a good start to his season, I would think, hasn't he, Doug?
He really has, and we've been impressed with Parker since we drafted him. And you're right, he had a great offseason, really good preseason, you know. And it's hard for a guy like Parker too, because he sits behind Christian Kirk in everything that he does. And so now he really gets an opportunity to go out there and compete. And you know, he filled in nicely a year ago when Christian was down, and all of that. So you know, looking forward to watching him play. Obviously, he's a competitor. He's tough. He does everything right. Trevor has a great rapport with him. So we don't get much of a drop off when Parker's in the game. That's for sure.
Let's talk about your other guys that have been banged up a little bit. I know Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, Travis Etienne with the hamstring are trying to get back. As we sit here on Friday afternoon, Doug, any feelings on those guys, or too early yet?
Well, it's maybe a touch early, but I'll tell you this: both Brian and Gabe did a great job this week in practice. Both guys practiced all week, and they practiced through their injury, which is a credit to them. You know, they could have easily said, "Hey, I'm not going to practice till Friday or Saturday or something like that." But both guys, you know, gutted it out and showed some toughness there, and so I think it's really going to come down to you know, game time. Quite honestly. For both of those guys, and so you know, we've got some practice squad you know, activations with you know, possibly Elijah Cooks, with Austin Trammell and you know, Joshua Cephas. So you know, we'll make a decision tomorrow, obviously, but both guys did a great job in practice, and hopefully they can play.
Awesome. That'd be great if they could. Walker Little becomes your left tackle now. Tell us what Walker Little brings. He's a physical player. He's a run blocker. He's very good. Tell me all the things that Walker Little brings now as he becomes the full-time left tackle, Doug.
Yeah, you know, Walker, like you said, he's a really good run blocker at tackle. You know, and he does a nice job in pass protection. You know, he started off last week, you know, maybe a touch shaky, but really settled into the game and you know, did some great things last week. And now he's had another full week of preparation. And he's a veteran guy too, so he knows how to play. He's big, he's physical, and really excited to you know, get him going now at left tackle, and you know, watch his career kind of take off from there.
All right, so you go back to Philadelphia. I loved your answer this week. I told you this. They asked you if you're going to go see the statue. So you haven't seen the statue yet, but you've pretty much decided you're not going to tailgate, right? Is that kind of where we are?
Yeah, exactly. I won't tailgate, and I won't go see the statue.
It's a special trip back for you. I know it is, though. I know you've got friends back there. What's it like going back to a place where you had so much success?
Yeah, it's always good to go back to that, you know, to that place, and you know, you're always going to be remembered for the championship team and the championship year, and it's, you know, it's just an honor to have that on your resume and all of that. But you know, the other thing too is we're going back to try to win a football game against a good team and take our team in there, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and compete and you know, do some good. And so always a special place. Will always be a special place, but at the same time, we know we got business to do once we get there.
Doug, tell us about that football team that you've seen on tape, the Eagles. Obviously, they were 2-2. They've won 3 times now since their break. What do you see when you see them on tape?
You know, I see a team that's starting to play better offensively. I think we know that everything's going to run through, you know, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, that offensive line. They got some weapons on the outside. You know, they may be down one guy, Dallas Goedert, potentially. You know, he's a really good tight end who was there. We drafted him a couple years ago there. So it's a good offense. And, you know, it's a run first and play action movement second. And they're doing it at a high level. And so it's going to take, you know, all 11 on defense to really, you know, at least slow down the run game, make Jalen put it in the air, and then just play sound defense, try to create some takeaways. And then on defense, it's a typical Vic Fangio defense. I mean, these guys are, again, you know, got some young players in the secondary, but they're playing well. They're playing good together. It's a big physical defensive line. I would say if there's any, if there is a weakness, it's hard to find, quite frankly. You know, just because of the nature of what they're playing, and they disguise a lot of things. They'll bring up timely blitzes and pressures. You know, so you got to be ready, and they make you go. You know, they make you go the long way. So we got to be ready for that and take care of the football, and you know, we got to score in the red zone.
Final thing, Doug, as you get we're about halfway point of the season here now. Can you keep your – and I know it's the challenge for all coaches, and I get it. But can you keep your team focused on just today, not watching the standings, not getting caught up on what happened yesterday? And I get it. You're dealing with 53 guys here. But is this team at a good place with regard to that, do you think?
I think so. You know, I think that they're focused on what we're trying to do and accomplish, and you know, but I do think they do. You know, they do keep one eye open around the league and see what's happening, even in our own division and where that's going. And you know, listen, we've got to figure out how to just win a football game. We got to clean up some mistakes. You know, we've been in other than the Buffalo game, really, and the Chicago game got out of hand. We've been every game we've been in, had a chance to win it, maybe in the fourth quarter. And now we've just got to overcome that. We got to be able to learn how to finish a little bit better, you know, and then get the ball to bounce our way here in the second half of the season.
All right, Doug Pederson checking in. Well, here, tell you what, Doug, I'm not going to tailgate either, but I am going to go look at the statue. So I'm going to tell you what it looks like after I walk around and stuff. But hey, man, thanks for spending some time all these Fridays. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Okay, thanks, Frank.
All right, Doug Pederson, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.